once again. So thank you so much for asking me to be here. I never ever miss an opportunity to be in Pune. This is a city I really love. Today is a day to rejoice and feel happy about the good work that has been done by the fraternity. And I think we have had some of the most wonderful entries. I must compliment jury on the kind of good work that they have done. The young persons who have been working very hard and everyone who was involved in the whole process. It's not beating about your own drums. It is about recognizing what exactly someone has done, which can be really very good. Appreciation is a very infectious kind of situation. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel proud. It is infectious because it makes you get onto a situation which you can call as emulation. Emulation to become perfect. Emulation to do good things. Take it from me, and that is coming from my heart. I compliment you, all the winners who are sitting on the right, left hand, and center, and I think all of you, for having been able to produce some of the buildings which are excellent. I've been watching construction happening all over the world, but I think, like in Urdu, they have a term, they call it zanoon. I think what you have done is out of that, somebody could say, quote unquote, the madness, the kind of freak nature to produce something which is exemplary, which is worth watching and seeing. Some of the entries were extremely, extremely good. My finest compliments for all the good work that you have done, may it be for the lower section houses, may it be for the industrial buildings, may it be the luxury villas and condominiums that you have constructed, the architects, the builders, everybody needs a pat on their back. And this also tells that yes, we can do it. So to that extent, I am so very pleased being here this evening. I go with Mr. Basu when he calls upon other centers of Builder Association of India to display. It's almost like inviting a guest at your place. Keep your house closed and you'll find that your drawing room has specks of dirt, the muck is spread everywhere because you are living in there so nobody bothers you. But the moment you realize that a guest is about to appear and come and be with you this evening, then suddenly the entire household goes for the spring cleaning and the house looks spick and span. I think talking about the kind of work that we have done, it may not be the best in the whole of the universe, but fact of the matter is that you have the courage to really come forward and show to everyone that yes, this is what we have done, and that courage is needing the kind of salutations from myself. Thank you so much for the work. When I come to Pune, and this is very peculiar about Pune, some of my friends, they know exactly my daily routine. And Mr. Kothari probably knew that I hadn't had my morning walk this morning, so therefore he made me go up and down the dais for the entire time. Thank you very much. My wife is going to be very happy because I must have burned some substantial amount of calories for that matter. It was a pleasure. Pune also keeps me busy. This morning I had a wonderful meeting with Mr. Vijay Shirke or VG Shirke and Company. And looking at the kind of trouble that the industry is facing, the shortage of skilled manpower which Mr. Basu spoke about, we have been talking about how exactly do we formalize a model in which pre-engineered and prefabricated construction technologies, they achieve more acceptability. At all levels, there are gaps that need to be filled. And within CIDC, that's my business to really identify the areas which are, needing some kind of strengthening, and to go to those who are the experts, who are the people who have the propensity to become the mentor and guide the industry in that line. And I have absolutely no hesitation to say that when it comes to the kind of future scenario, I think Mrs. B.G. Shirke and company is the one which is going to be showing a bit of a direction to everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Jana and Mr. Suryavanshi, for having been with me good part of this morning while I was discussing with Mr. Vijay Shirke. We have come to certain principled decisions that yes, this is a time when we have to involve the stakeholders, the architects, the Bureau of Indian Standard, the designers, the state government representatives, and of course, the Ministry of Urban Development, to sit down together to evolve the kinds of codes of practice, both for manufacturing of the goods, deciding the quality, etc., as well as the code of practice for application, changing the mindset of people so that from in situ construction they could move out to prefabricated construction. And why would we like to do that? There are two prime situations. Number one, the manpower that we need for good quality construction, believe it or not, is just not available in this country. No matter whatever exercises are done for the skill development. The fact of the matter is that from the perennial sources from where the manpower used to come and still is trickling to some extent, those sources are also drying up now. Which were these traditional sources? You had Bihar, you had Jharkhand, you had part of Uttar Pradesh, you had Odisha, you had parts of Andhra Pradesh, which cater to the southern side for that matter. And if you visit the hinterland, we are working day in and day out in these provinces. As a matter of fact, majority of the construction workers which you will be having in this city of Pune, those who have constructed these beautiful structures, they would have been coming from either of these 3 or 4 states. Chhattisgarh has its own development agenda, and each state is actually progressing now, so the manpower that used to be traditionally available is just not available. Let's look at the young persons who used to come from the hinterland because of the natural calamity or the want of earning wages. They used to travel. They have increasingly stopped to travel outside their state because they are able to find alternative employment right in the domain where they are. And this situation is going to persist. So what are we going to do? The next best thing is that we will have to, whether we like it or not, we will have to go for factory production of the construction components, and we will have to go for pre-engineering and prefabrication. And that is the call of future. There are 4 crore plus workers who are working for construction industry today. As the author of the national plans, 10th, 11th and 12th, I know it very well that it's a humongous number. 5% of this number every year goes away because of the natural attrition. Another 5% goes away because of obsolescence of technology. 10% gone, we are talking about something like 4 million people to be inducted into the industry every year, if we want to be where we are. But fact of the matter is that what we are doing now is hardly 1/3 of what the government of the day has on the anvil. It has to be 3 times more. And how exactly are we going to do that unless otherwise we industrialize the whole process? And that, I believe, was the fundamental dream of late Mr. B.G. Shirke. That is what he wanted to look at the construction industry like. Well, I think he was ahead of his time, but he had really put the seeds which are important. So I must say that these are the kind of things that we have to look into. No matter what we do, but the conventional trades have become a pass. They will not be there anymore. So any efforts that are being made by any of the organizations to train people as masons, as carpenters, as bar benders are really not going to help the industry. We are talking about system formwork. We are talking about mechanical equipment for erection of components. We are talking about the joinery in a different manner altogether. We are talking about concreting, utilizing various kind of equipment. You need people with different kind of skills. It has to be a dynamic situation, not a straight-jacketed situation where you have the national occupational standards or for that matter the qualification requirements and things like that. That's not going to work. It's changing. It is in a state of flux. That is something that we have to understand, and mechanization is going to be the answer for the kind of predicament that we are in. Having said that, there are a couple of more things that as industry apex organization, both Construction Industry Development Council and Builder Association of India have to do together. And that is something where we will have to work together for all the time to come. Because the allegiance is to the industry. That is something that we have to understand. So there are many fronts on which we need to join hands. We have been talking about it time and again, and I think this is the time that some serious talk must take place and we should try to put it together as comrades. Number 3. There is a paradigm shift in the government funding in infrastructure construction. So increasingly, the private funds will be moving into construction of infrastructure. Rights are one issue that you know very well. International monetary funds too will come through the private sources only. I am talking about PPP initiatives which are going to be the flavor of the day. Our industry still is not prepared for that. We have not understood the nuances of it. I am very happy to inform you that about 4 months ago, we have signed a memorandum of understanding and then incorporated an organization jointly with the United Nations Economic Commission and Europe to focus especially on PPP projects. Dr. B.D. Mundra is the chairman of Simplex Infrastructure. He happens to be the chairman of this organization and I am the Secretary General designate. This will be working to facilitate the kind of ingress of private institutional finances coming into the infrastructure. We'll talk about it in detail later. There are a couple of more issues, but I think I have limited time, so therefore I would not go on. And I had discussed these issues with Mr. Suryavanshi here, who is going to be sharing those ideas with you. But briefly speaking, I'll touch that. The real estate regulatory authority bill that is now almost on our doorstep. There is a lot of preparation that developers and builders, and to some extent even the contractors, will have to do. So my one recommendation is, and I have sent a soft copy of this particular presentation to Mr. Suryavanshi, and I would request him to share this with all of us and try to go through that, try to find out the level of preparedness. This is just kind of a glimpse in future that I am talking about. And the last item on my agenda was that we owe it to those who have done wonderful work. But there is one segment that has been left behind. I am specifically talking about the people, the nondescript people who came and built these structures which have brought us to glory. And here I am specifically talking about people who come from the state of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. As the largest state, as the biggest poverty-stricken state. And it is so ironical that tomorrow morning I am going to one of the most backward districts. I will be flying out to Lucknow tomorrow morning and then driving another 3 hours to reach one of the most backward districts. And it is so different when you compare this with the kind of structures that you have in this fair city of Pune and the kind of things that you see around, and then suddenly you land up a place where you realize that in the schools you do not even have toilets. And many of the kids, they really cannot go and continue with their education because they can't sit through the class because there is no toilet in the school. And I'm talking about the government schools for that matter. And scores of them. Now I don't want to tell that we are acting as philanthropists in CIDC, but it is a plight which will move almost anyone sitting in this room. We can't even imagine at times, the kind of sad predicament that people are in. So therefore, we have decided, and I must thank Mr. R. Dhoot, who had been consistently on our board. We have taken the resolution that about 100 toilets will be constructed by us under Pradhan Mantri Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and that's what we are consistently working on. To all of you friends here who are sitting in this hall and seeing the fruits of labor of the people who are coming from these states only, to at least try to support the back end by donating toilets to the state of Uttar Pradesh. Believe it or not, this is what is going to be strengthening the hands of our Prime Minister, UP being the most populous state, and at this point in time, UP has the privilege of having the 9th Prime Minister coming in India. Mr. Narendra Modi no more represents the state of Gujarat. He represents the state of Uttar Pradesh and from Varanasi. And that's what is going to help the government. And that's how we would be confident and then say that Achhe Din Wakai Aa Gaye. Can we come forward under the corporate social responsibility obligations? Join hands with CIDC. Let's build at least 1,000 toilets in the state of Uttar Pradesh. We are already sitting there trying to help out with whatever might that we have. Let us try to go together, try to build this society. Thank you very much. God bless you all.